So your mic is mute, Mr. Shamsul, your mic is mute.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that. Yeah, talking, then we are not hearing, then yeah, okay.
Silly mistakes. Okay. Luckily, you stopped me there. All right. I'm going to repeat that again. So this is a closer look of HTML tag. All right. You can see in between the left angle and right angle is the character of a HTML tag. Okay. This character refers to what kind of characteristic that you want to have in your browser, in your document. Right? For example, if it's a paragraph, okay, you need to use P element or P tag to create the information, to convert the information as paragraph. Okay, but this is the opening tag and then this is the closing tag. So in the closing tag, you need to include the /. Okay, / indicate that you need to stop the function of the tag. If you don't have a closing tag, you will have trouble with your document. Okay, what kind of trouble? I will explain to you later. Okay, so far, okay?
Yes.
It doesn't seem convincing, but it's okay. All right, now I'm going to continue. Okay, this is how a complete sets of HTML element looks like. Okay, and then you could also include attributes. So attribute tells you more about the element. It's additional information about the HTML tag. For example, here P, and then you include an attribute called language. So the language you're going to use in your document is English. So it will not affect the physical characteristic of the HTML element. It's just adding up information only. So most of your HTML element or HTML tag needs to have an attribute. So what attribute does, it provides additional information about the content of an element. They appear on the opening tag of the element and are made of two parts. Okay, remember guys, in HTML or CSS, you have parts within parts. It's sometimes confusing, but you need to really focus on each part of your HTML tag. Sometimes if you missed out a symbol, for example, the whole document will not work well. Okay, so we have to really be careful. All right, so let me just re-explain about attributes. Okay, attribute is an additional information about the tag. Here you can see, although I have included a P element or paragraph, P tag, I've also included an attribute. So the attribute here says that I am using a language attribute. Okay, language attribute meaning that you want to tell the browser that I'm using English US or English UK. Okay, so if you use English US and English UK, there are certain differences in the spelling. For example, English US, the spell center is, how the spell center is CENTER, where English UK, the spell center is, how the spell center? CENTRE, correct? Right? Am I breaking up?
No, can hear.
No, okay, all right. So those are the differences between those two languages. So if you're using US, for example, you can include the attribute. Okay? Again, but if you don't put the attribute, it still work. Don't worry. But certain paragraph needs to include attribute. Like your IMG tag, your A tag needs to have an attribute. Okay, later I will explain detail about those tags. All right, but for now, let's focus on this now. So the attribute name, okay, let me just re-explain again, detail about what is attributes, okay? So the attribute name indicate what kind of extra information that you are supplying to the content. So it should be written in lowercase. All your HTML text, your attributes, the value of the attributes must be written only using lowercase. You cannot use uppercase. And the spelling of the attributes or the HTML text basically is using US English. So if you want to type color, you have to spell COLOR. If you want to type center, you have to spell it CENTER. Okay, so if you type CENTRE, that's an error. Okay, it doesn't work. All right. So the value is the information or setting for the attribute. It should be placed in double quotation mark, right? So if you have more attributes, you have to have a space, then you can include another attribute. Okay, here an attribute called lang is US English, indicate that the language used in this element is English US. So the value is in the US. So you don't have to worry about memorizing all these attributes and the value. Okay, don't worry. Okay, because why? Because we have everything in Dreamweaver. Whenever you type an alphabet or a character in Dreamweaver, it will list down all the attributes, all the text that you might want to use later. But for the first exercise that we're going to do later today in class, we are going to use Notepad or text edit, right? Just to familiarize you with those HTML elements. Okay. All right, and then these are the basic element, the main element in a web document. Okay, let me before I continue, I need to show you something. I'm gonna stop sharing this. I'm going to, okay. All right, I have a web document here. It's from Forbes. Watch out for China buying spree. NATO warns. Okay, doesn't really indicate anything. I just read this article. So, sorry, I'm not sharing the screen yet. Okay, remember I told you you need to whenever you want to see the HTML tag and whatnot, you need to right-click the website, correct? Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
What is it?
Yes.
Watch out for China buying spree.
Yeah, it's a website from Forbes.com. Okay, all right. So okay, so again, this is the structure of a web. You can see the heading, you can see the author's name, you can see lines or horizontal rules. These lines is basically we call horizontal rules. It's the same as what you have in your blog. Remember, your e-portfolio. If you want to separate your document, your information, you break up using horizontal rules. Correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Am I listening to only Janani here? Okay. Okay. These horizontal rules. And then you have several paragraphs. Okay. You have one paragraph and then you have another paragraph, etc. So this is a link. The blue colored text with underlined text is a link text. Okay. Then you have drop down menu or tabs or accordion. In Bootstrap, we call this accordion. All right. And then you have images floating on the right with caption underneath it. Then you have more images, all right, with caption. Again, when you have if you want to include an image, make sure you need to include a caption as well. Okay, the same as what you did in your e-portfolio, right? Okay, so when we right click on the website, okay, you can choose view page source. Okay, there you go. These are all the codes. Remember when I said whenever a search robot wanted to search something, right? A keyword, for example, you normally when you search in your Google, you type keywords, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So the search engine or the search robot, basically they're trying to find all these keywords. If I zoom in more, you can see these keywords here. Content, NATO, China pandemic, news keyword, item props keyword, content, yada yada yada. So this is the reason why search engine can find your website.
How does
Besides,
it identify as a keyword? How does it know that that is a
you
keyword?
need to indicate that in your document. So
Okay.
whenever you create a new file or new document in Dreamweaver,
Mhm.
this is basically will create it for you automatically. The only thing that you need to include is the value. Okay,
Oh,
you need to explain your content lah, basically.
okay.
All right, that one is manual. You have to create manually. All right.
Mhm.
All right. This is normally we set this in the hit section. So how I know it is a hit section? Okay, let me just show you. Okay, here. This is the hit section.
Mhm.
So within the hit section, you see title and also you'll see titles and also meta documents, and you can also add link. Whether you want to link to different CSS file, you want to link to JavaScript, you want to add your icons, you can do it in the hit section. So these are all within the hit section until very long hit section.
Oh my God.
Wait, I'm looking for the closing tag for the hit section.
Okay. Oh.
It's quite long. Okay, now. Okay, wait, I missed out the closing. This is how you read. Can you imagine you writing your codes like this? I'm gonna die. There is a way of writing your codes. I'll show you how. Okay, so this is the closing tag of the hit. See here?
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So this indicate that everything here,
Is
all
that-
these tags are basically sits within the hit section.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you don't see anything on the hit section. What will be displayed in the browser is within the body section. So you can see after the hit section, you have body section, right?
Yeah.
So this is what you're gonna see, what will appear in the browser. So yeah, these are all the contents. It's made up with all other elements.
Oh my God.
You have span, you have age, you have allies, you have paragraph, you have divisions, you have other HTML tags. All the sorry, all the purple colored tags are basically HTML elements.
Okay.
The black colored tags, basically the content.
Text. Okay.
The content that will appear in browser. Okay, the blue color text is basically the value of an attribute. You can see here you have the A tag here, right?
Yeah.
So the A tag is
Link.
a link, and then a link will not work without an attribute. Without href or hyperlink reference, you don't have a link. So this is one attribute. Okay, and this is the value of that attribute. So the value of the attribute may be different on different attributes.
Okay.
So for example, attributes for href is the URL, the complete URL.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So here's another attribute, which is class. Okay, class, you have ID. Class is basically a name for your tag. Okay, you give a class name for your tag. Reason why, because later you might want to change the characteristic of your LI, for example. You want to make it bigger, you want to make it smaller, you want to have an underline, you want to add color and whatnot, right? So you need to give a special name to this LI because you will have different LI in your document. You have multiple LIs in your document. All right. So you might want to have a class name for each LI so that you can have different different style to it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let me just continue with the slides. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing this.
Okay.
I'm going to start share a new. What is it? What's this chat for? Okay, all right. I'm gonna continue with my keynote. So far, so good, guys. Are you following what I'm trying to explain?
More or less, yeah.
So I don't understand.
Well, following but worried now.
You don't understand what I.
I think we'll understand better if we actually do it.
Yes, correct. That one come later. You need to know this first. Okay, we're gonna practice all this after this. All right. So first, you need to know all this first, lah. So these are the different part in your web document. So in a web document consists of head, body, and title. So, but the main part is head and body. Okay, I think I've showed you just now from Forbes website. So you should start with the head section first. All right, and then the second part of the document is the body. So it says here, before the body element, you will often see a head element. This contains information about the page. You will usually find a title sits inside the head element. Right after the head element, you see the body. So you met the body element in the first example created just now. So whatever you see, whatever document that appears in the browser, basically it sits inside body section. Why I said sits inside body section is because all the content, all other elements sits between the opening and the closing tag. That is what I meant by sits within or sits inside element. All right? Okay, so this element can become a parent element, can become a child element. Okay, I will explain further about what is parent, what is child element. All right? Okay, whatever title you see on your head on the tab, right? You can do it in the title. Okay, the content of the title elements are basically shown in the browser, top of the browser, on the tab bar. Okay, so other elements. So when creating a web page, you add more element to the page, or known as markup. You add tags. All right. So these tags provide extra meaning and allow browsers to show users the appropriate structure of the web. So for example, for headings, you have 6 levels of headings that you can use for your web browser or for your web document. But normally, you will only use up till 3rd level, which is H3. H1 is the main heading, the first heading. All right. Second level is H2. Okay, 3rd level is H3, and it goes on and on until H6. So each of this heading will have different size, but then you can change the characteristic, how the appearance of each heading using CSS. That's why sometimes when you include a tag, you might want to include a class name or ID name. Right? Reason why you want to change the style. You want to change the appearance by using those names. Instead of using H1 itself, you can give a name to it, and you can use that new name to tell to give a new rule so that you can change the appearance. Okay? All right, later I'll explain to you why we need to do this. Okay. So in HTML code or behind the scene, all right, you see this the top one. So H1, H2, that's how you type your headings. Right? So what you will see in the browser is the bottom. So this is the main heading, subheading level 2, etc., etc. So those are the appearance, how it will appear in your browser, in the browser. Again, like I mentioned just now, you can change the appearance. You can change the fonts. You can change the color by indicating it using CSS. Right? to create a paragraph, you need to surround your content, your word in a P tag. So if you have more than one paragraph, you have to have more than one P. But you need to remember this. Please remember this, guys. Put this in your head. There is no such thing as P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6. No. You only have P. The only tag or element that have numbers is the heading, H1. That's all. So for the rest of the element of the text, there is no number following that tag. Okay, understand? For example, if you have more than one paragraph, right? You can start with a new P and type your content and close it with the closing tag of your P. That's all. Again, there is no P1, P2, or P3. Okay? So for paragraph, you have to use P. So this is how it looks like. Okay, again, so the first paragraph sits in a P tag. The second paragraph also sits in another P tag. Okay, you cannot type and then press return, assuming that you created a new paragraph. It doesn't work that way, yeah? All right, so to create another paragraph, you need to tell the browser you have another P in your document by adding another P. Okay. So, and then you have B for bold, I for italic. Again, this can be included within a paragraph. For example, right? Within your paragraph, okay, within your paragraph, certain word you might want to highlight. Okay, you want to you want to emphasize on certain words, for example. All right. So what you can do, you can use B, or you can use I, or you can use strong, or you can use emphasize. So those are the elements that you can use. So it sits within the paragraph. Okay. So far clear? I'm gonna continue.
Just a quick question, sir.
Yes.
The ending, we must use the slash, right? Like the tag, then slash.
Correct.
In the same.
Correct. So whenever you add a new tag, you must have two sides, the opening and the closing. Okay. All right. Especially when you add B. For example, if you add B, you only have the opening and you forgot to close it, the entire sentence or the entire paragraph will have bold. Right? But by right, you want to highlight only certain words, correct? So the end should be placed at the end of the sentence, or at the end of sentence that you want to highlight. Okay. All right. Same goes to other elements like italic, strong, emphasis. All right. So this is how it look like in the normal set on how you type it. So this is how you make a word appear bold. So the word bold. So around the word bold, you have to put the opening tag and the closing tag.
Okay.
Okay. So how it appears, it will appear that way. Now the result is at the bottom. Okay. The same goes to italic. Again, you don't have to remember all this. Okay, I will not force you to remember all this. All right. So I will not have a test or an exam. Probably I'm going to come up with a quiz later.
Oh, no.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, you don't have to remember because you can, remember guys, HTML, CSS, all right, and JavaScript, we consider this as open source.
What does that mean?
Okay, it means that the source is free for everyone to use. You don't have to pay. Okay, as compared to, for example, .asp. .asp is another programming language, but if you want to use it, you have to pay to Microsoft. You want to use .asp or .net. So if it's HTML and CSS, you can find some other resources that fit your need, for example. You can just copy the code and you place it in your content. Okay? That is not wrong. It's not considered as plagiarism. Understand? Okay. Especially when you start to work with Bootstrap. Okay? Because it's much more complex and it's difficult for you to control the layout and whatnot. So you might want to use Bootstrap, or you might want to find resources that have the feature that you want to use, and you can just copy and then you can customize later using CSS.
Understand. Mhm.
All right. Okay, this is how italic looks like. Okay, and then this you have another part. This is quite important as well. Okay, this is list. What is a list? Okay, in a document, you have a list. Okay, I'll show you how you do it in document. Right? How you do it in document is okay. So assuming that this is your document, and then I'm going to add list. So you have a title. Okay, the title, I mean a content. List of things I miss during MCO. Okay, so that is the title of your list. So it says here that's a list, right? Okay, I'm gonna put this in a new page. I'm gonna put that. Okay, for example, if you want to move your word to a new page, do not press return. Don't do that. If you want to make this word, go down to the next page. What you can do is you select the word, you go to layout, choose break page. So we'll automatically, it disappears. Okay, you don't highlight that. Okay, you make sure that you move your cursor at the beginning of the word. Then you go to layout and break. Reason why? Because it will maintain that content within that page. Okay, so I'm going to continue. So normally after you have this, then the word, then you probably put a colon, and then you start to write the list. Okay, the list of things I missed during MCO. Can you give me some ideas? Can you share with me? Okay. What are the things that you could miss during MCO? Or in Singapore, they call it circuit breaker. I don't know why. We don't have Singaporean here. Okay, probably you miss sleeping.
You miss your friend.
Yeah, miss your friend. No. I mean, what the list of things you miss during MCO? Oh yeah, of course lah.
For you is swimming.
Swimming, yeah. I miss swimming. I can't swim now, so swimming. And then I have what? Running, cycling. Okay, etc. So I have 3, for example, right? Okay, so to make this as a list, what you could do is you're supposed to select all the words, go to home, and you choose this, correct? Bullet points.
Yes, bullet
points. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to make an ordered list, for example, if you have like the different usage of using list. So if this is an unordered list, okay? So if you want to make a number out of from the list, you need to choose numbering, correct? Okay? Yeah. So that's how you do it in document. But if you want to do that in web document, you have to use either unordered list or ordered list. Right. There are lots of occasions when you need to use list. HTML provides us with 2 different types of lists. There are probably more than these 2 types. Okay, but the most common type of list you might want to use in your HTML document is either ordered list or unordered list. So ordered list is the list with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe the usage is because you want to tell steps. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So if you want to indicate those content as a steps, all right. So you have to use ordered list. Okay. Or if the list is not in order, or it could be in random list, you can use unordered list. All right. So these are the 2 main type of list you may want to use in your document. All right. So in HTML, those lists is called either OL, O, or UL. All right. So OL and UL is the different type of list. So how it appears in your browser, it appears whether with a number or with bulleted, with bullet. All right. So in those OL, you need to indicate the items that sits in the OL. We call it list item, or the tag is LI. Okay. So so once you have that LI, the browser will automatically indent the list by default. Okay, you understand what is indent, right? You have a space before the word. So it will indent automatically. But if you don't want to have an indentation, you can change that by using CSS. All right. Okay. So in HTML, it looks like this. First, you have to tell the browser that you want to use ordered list. Okay. Within that ordered list, okay, you can see the opening tag is on top and the closing tag of the OL is way at the bottom of all the list items. You don't have to screenshot that. Don't worry. I'm going to share this video later. Okay. So all the items that sits in OL will use LI tag. LI stands for list item. All right. So if you have like one item, I don't think it's a list. All right. You just put a forced line break, then you can come up with that word. But if you have a list like this, you need to use OL or UL. Okay. So how it appears in the browser, it appears with numbers. Okay. Then UL is unordered list, the same as UL. But then when you type it this way. And when it appears in the browser, you have the bullet before the words. Okay. So far clear, guys?
Yep.
Okay, never mind. We're gonna do this later after this, huh? All right, and then we have nested list. I'm gonna skip this nested list for a while because this will make you more confused. It will confuse more, even worse. Okay, I'm gonna skip this for now, but we're gonna do this later. Nested list, huh? Right? Skip this. Okay, then you have links. Okay, I know links. You know links. If you want to add links, you can just type A and then you add the URL in the A. So what links do? It define features on the web because you allow you to go to a different website or to connect or to link within your page. So for example, you have in your website, you have 100,000 of pages. How do you manage that? It's difficult. All right. Okay. Let's make it simple. Can you imagine if you want to link to 5 pages? What more easier? Correct. So normally, what you can do is you can link all that pages using the link. Okay. It is commonly type of link. You can link either to within the web page or to another website. Okay. And you can also link within the page in
So
some part.
So you mute yourself.
Okay, sorry. It's automatic. Wait, Alamak. Wait. I have to stop for a while because suddenly QuickTime stopped recording.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. Quit QuickTime.
So isn't the Zoom recording?
No, difficult for me to edit the file. Because, okay, for example, if I'm talking about 1 hour, right? The whole session 1 hour, I have a 1 hour video. So I have to cut. So if I record using QuickTime, I can, stop and start recording part by part, right? Okay, sorry. I think there's a problem with QuickTime. It doesn't want to quit. Wait, I need to stop sharing first. Huh? but I'm still recording from
Zoom, right?
Yeah, Zoom.
Yeah.